Good afternoon and happy new year, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first stream that's under the Go Pats Roll Tide 99 banner. As you saw yesterday, I merged both my Roll Tide 99 channel and the Go Pats 99 channel into each other. So now pro content and college football content will be under the same banner, Roll Tide Go Pats 99. Glad you can join me today for a very special presentation, the Rose Bowl. Glad you can join me for this live reaction and play-by-play commentary stream for this game between the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Indiana Hoosiers. Indiana comes into the game with a record of 13-0. Alabama comes into the game with a record of 11-3. Winner of this game continues in their quest in the college football playoff. The winner of this game was set to face the Orange Bowl winner. We now know that Oregon has won the Orange Bowl. So the winner of this game will go on to next week to play Oregon in the semifinals. Of course, the loser goes home. Happy New Year, everybody. Hopefully, if you had a good 2025, it carries over into 2026. If you had a bad 2025, hopefully things change for you in 2026. Of course, we saw last week, or I should say on December 19th, Alabama come back from a 17-0 deficit to beat Oklahoma and make it to this game. Indiana went 13-0, got the number 1 seed. They had a bye, so we're automatically given this game. Now, it is worth noting that in all four quarterfinal games last year and in the first 2 quarterfinal games this year, the team that had the bye week ended up losing. All 4 teams last year lost after having a bye. So far, Ohio State lost, they had a bye, and Texas Tech lost, they had a bye. So the team that had the bye is 0-6 all time in the college football playoff quarterfinals. So the trends are in favor of Alabama. But this Indiana team is more dangerous than the Indiana teams in the past. They may not have faced quite the competition that Alabama's faced, but this team is a good team. There's Kalen DeBoer in the black hoodie of death. So Alabama's going to have to be on their toes for this game. Both teams have run on to their respective sidelines. Coin toss coming in momentarily. I will mute for just a second so I can hear the coin toss. Alabama won the toss and elected to defer to the second half, meaning Indiana will receive the ball first. Alabama will be kicking off right to left on your TV screen. Of course, Indiana, coached by Curt Cignetti, 24-2 so far as Indiana head coach. Both of those two losses happening last season. Kalen DeBoer, 8-2 all time against top 10 opponents, has the opportunity to make it 9-2. He's also only lost twice against top ranked opponents with Alabama. Josh Cuevas, for the first time since the first Oklahoma game, will be a full participant. He is the starting tight end for Alabama. Both teams lined up for the kickoff as we expect the kickoff momentarily. Kickoff in the air. Out the back of the end zone for a touchback. Indiana will receive the ball starting at their own 25-yard line, 1st and 10 Hoosiers. Out trots the Heisman winner, Fernando Mendoza. 33 passing touchdowns, leading the FBS. He is also the first Indiana Hoosier quarterback to win the Heisman. So Alabama, obviously, their primary goal on defense is to shut down him and take away his passing lanes. Mendoza in shotgun, overwhelmed immediately by the defensive line, loss of about 1.5 yards on the play, brings up 2nd and 12 for the Hoosiers. Offensive line for the Hoosiers just immediately collapsed. Mendoza tried to scramble away, but got taken down from behind. 2nd and 12. Mendoza in shotgun. This time he hands it off to number 1, their running back. Gain about 6 on the play. Brings up 3rd and 6 for the Hoosiers. Of course, Alabama defense mostly led by Xavier Brown and Yanze Pierre. Roman Himby took the handoff for the Hoosiers on that play there. 3rd and 4 for the Hoosiers. Mendoza in shotgun. Takes a snap, looking to throw, getting chased. Sacked back at the 20-yard line for a loss of almost 10 on the play. Alabama's defensive strategy is clear and obvious so far. Overwhelm the Indiana line and get to Mendoza. That's 2 times Mendoza attempted to throw on the play and almost immediately got sacked. Too easy. This is going to get ugly. Well, I don't know. We haven't seen the Alabama offense yet. What really concerns me, especially against this Indiana defense, is can the running game get going? Because if not, it's going to be all on Ty Simpson. Punt for Indiana is in the air, rolls out of bounds at right around the Alabama 40-yard line. 1st and 10, Crimson Tide. And on trots Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson only threw 1 interception in the first 9 games, but in the last 5 has thrown 4. See if he can improve in this game. Did a lot better in the Oklahoma game 2 weeks ago. See if he can build upon that. Good starting field position for the Crimson Tide. 1st and 10 at their own 41-yard line. Simpson in shotgun. Good protection, but nobody open. Threw it out of bounds. Brings up 2nd and 10 for the Crimson Tide. Of course, other than Simpson, biggest weapon for Alabama on the offense is going to be wide receiver Jeremy Bernard. He has stepped up big time in this year and has been one of the big reasons why defenses fear Ty Simpson. See if we can get him going in this game. Here we go. 2nd and 10. Simpson in shotgun. Fake the handoff the heel. Now he throws it out to, I think that's Williams. Yes, he did. Only gains about 4, though, on the play. Brings up 3rd and 6 for the Crimson Tide. Third and 6 for Alabama. Simpson in shotgun. Throws it, completes it to number 4. That's Daniel Hill, the running back. Barely enough for the first down, although I would not be surprised if the refs call for a review there. Looked like he just barely got it. He passed midfield. If he gets it, if they ruled it, and they do rule it a first down, it was only a gain of about 6.5 on the play. 1st and 10 from the Indiana 49-yard line. Simpson under center. Escapes 2 people attempting to tackle him. Now he gets it out to Cuevas. Gain of about 7 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 3 for the Crimson Tide. Josh Cuevas, we haven't really heard from since the first Oklahoma game. He got injured in that one. That might have even been his first reception since the Oklahoma game. To be clear, I mean the first Oklahoma game, not the one that we played in 2 weeks ago. 2nd and 4, Simpson in shotgun. Hands it off to Hill. Hill has a crease. Gain of about 6 on the play. Brings up 1st and 10 for the Crimson Tide. A lot of the big questions has been the Alabama run game. Good crease there and good protection from the run blocking for a first down. See if that run game can keep up. 1st and 10, Simpson in shotgun. Hands it off to Hill. Hill maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. That's it. Brings up 2nd and 10 for the Crimson Tide. That's really been the story of the season so far, has been the inconsistent run game. 2nd and 10, Simpson in shotgun. Alabama looked like they were trying to go to get Indiana in the neutral zone. No flag. Now some adjustments happening on the fly here. Takes a snap. Completes it to Hill, but is going to lose about 5 on the play. Brings up 3rd and 15 for the Crimson Tide. Wow. Just really nothing doing there. First off, Simpson nearly took a sack. Had to get rid of it quickly, I think, before he wanted to. Officially ruled 3rd and 14. Simpson in shotgun. Throws it out. Incomplete, intended for Williams. Nearly picked, but Williams was able to knock it free just before it was intercepted. Brings up 4th and 14 in a punting situation for the Crimson Tide. So both offenses stalling out almost. Well, Indiana stalled out almost instantly. Bama got a couple first downs, but then they stalled out. So an offensive drive for each team ends in a punt. Blake Dowd on to punt for Bama. Jonathan Brady out to return for the Hoosiers. Punt is in the air. Fair caught and then down by the Crimson Tide right around the Indiana 4-yard line. 1st and 10 Hoosiers. That brings us to the first commercial break here at the Rose Bowl. Maybe I want Bama to win because chaos. Well, that would cause chaos because I wonder, would that mean teams, if Indiana loses here, does that mean teams in the future are going to deliberately try to avoid top seeds? Because that would mean that top seeded teams would be 0-7 after this game. Now, I am saying I'm going to stick with this pick. I got the Oregon pick right. Hopefully, Bama holds on to get this one. I'm sticking with my pick that Georgia dominates Ole Miss, but that's only because I do not trust Ole Miss without Lane Kiffin and with Pete Golding as the head coach to beat Georgia, led by Kirby Smart. That's the only reason why I'm going to stick with my pick of Georgia defeating Ole Miss, is because I do not trust Ole Miss in the situation they're in. Now that Lane Kiffin's gone, there's all the drama surrounding them, and they're going up against the best team in the SEC, the Georgia Bulldogs. And also something notable, that it would be actually the first, if Alabama wins this one, it's going to be the first win of this bowl season by an SEC team against a Power 4 team. Of course, as I said earlier, the winner of this game between Indiana and Alabama will face Oregon. Oregon won 23-0 over Texas Tech. That game went final less than an hour ago. And that game in the semifinals will be played next Friday evening. And of course, later tonight, you got Georgia Ole Miss. Winner of that game will go on to the semifinals to take on Miami, who pulled the upset win over Ohio State last night. Back from commercial break, they're highlighting Fernando Mendoza's speech from the Heisman ceremony. I mean, great accomplishment for Mendoza to have won the Heisman from a school like Indiana, who never had a Heisman winner before. There's Mendoza's parents in the audience tonight for the Rose Bowl. Indiana taking it from their own 4-yard line, 1st and 10. Handoff to Hemby. Gains 2 yards on the play, brings up 2nd and 8 for the Hoosiers. Georgia for sure going win. Carson Beck playing his old team next week is too juicy to pass up. That would be an interesting matchup. Although I am questioning, though, if Georgia can actually win, given that the teams with the byes have been losing. 2nd and 10, hands it off to number 8. Gains about 4 on the play, brings up 3rd and 3 for the Hoosiers. Run game hasn't really been doing well for Indiana here. Let's see if they try to go to the air after those last 2 sacks. Officially ruled 3rd and 2. Mendoza in shotgun, looking to throw it. Being chased again, throws it. First time he's able to actually throw it, complete to number 13. Gets the first down plus about 4 more yards. Brings up 1st and 10 for the Hoosiers. First completed pass all game for the Hoosiers. See if the Bama defense can adjust to it. 1st and 10, Mendoza in shotgun. Throw it out behind the line, but he gets it about a gain of 9 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 1 for the Hoosiers. You had to wonder how Alabama's defense was going to adjust once Mendoza was able to get his rhythm. Now here we are. Bama's now having to get to adjust this. On the brink of another first down by the Hoosiers. Here we go. 2nd and 1. Mendoza in shotgun. Throws it to number 13. Tripped up just before he can get to the line of scrimmage. Brings up 3rd and inches for the Hoosiers. Clock ticking to 6 minutes left to go in the first quarter. No score in this game. 3rd and 1. Mendoza under center. Hands it off to Hemby, who gets the first down on a gain of 2 on the play. 1st and 10, Hoosiers. First and 10. Mendoza in shotgun. Hands it off to Hemby. Gain 1, maybe 2 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 9 for the Hoosiers. Bama defense starting to adjust to the run game of Indiana. See if maybe they're trying to lull Alabama to sleep here. Because you have to watch with Mendoza. He might try to go lull you to sleep for a deep pass. He's done it before. Can the Bama defense keep that from happening? 2nd and 9. Mendoza in shotgun. Good protection this time. Throws it. Completes it. To number 2. 1st and 10, Hoosiers to about, let's see if he actually maintained possession inside. Brings it to just before the Alabama 40-yard line to about the Alabama 42-yard line. Brings up 1st and 10 for the Hoosiers. Again, it's that deep ball by the Hoosiers that'll catch you every time. Alabama's got to find a way to take that out of play if they're going to have a hope of winning this game here. 1st and 10, Mendoza out of the shotgun, hands it off to number 14. Gain of about 5 on the play. No, correction, number 8 of the Hoosiers. Brings up 2nd and 5 for the Hoosiers. Second and 5, Mendoza in shotgun. Hands it off to number 8. First down, Hoosiers. Gets it to about the Alabama 29-yard line. Black, number 8, was the running back on the play there. First and 10. Mendoza in shotgun. Takes the snap, fakes a handoff. Now he throws it out to number 7. Gain of about 9 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 1 for the Hoosiers. Another short pass that turns into a big gain for the Hoosiers. Now brings up 2nd and 1 with less than 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. A relatively fast first quarter. 2nd and 1. Mendoza in shotgun. Hands it off to Black. Rumbles ahead for a gain about 5. Still getting pushed by his own line. Gains it to about the 10-yard line. 1st and 10, Hoosiers. Looked like Bama had him stopped after a gain of 5, but the offensive line was able to push to a gain of about at least twice that. Ball officially spotted at the Alabama 13-yard line. Mendoza in shotgun, hands it off to Black. This time, the Alabama defensive line meets him for a gain of only 1. Correction, that was Hemby, number 1 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 9 for the Hoosiers. Bama red zone defense has been great, but some teams have managed to find cracks in it, specifically Oklahoma and Georgia. See if the defense can hold here against Indiana. 2nd and 9, Mendoza in shotgun. Timeout, Hoosiers. With 1:07 left to go in the first quarter, the score, no score. 2 high-powered offenses, but so far defenses have held each other off of the scoreboard. Who is going to be the first one to fall? Here we are back from commercial break at the Rose Bowl. Of course, the Rose Bowl parade took place earlier. Traditional Rose Bowl parade. Of course, it is also very rain soaked, although it looks like the rain did stop. about 10 minutes before the game. So rain may not be as much of a factor as we thought it was. Second and 9 for the Hoosiers as we rejoin the action. Mendoza in shotgun. Takes a snap. Where'd the ball go? Flipped it out to 37. Didn't even see him catch it. But he stopped about a yard behind the line. Brings up 3rd and 10 for the Hoosiers. Officially ruled 3rd and 9. Ref having a conversation with the defensive lineman for some reason. Third and 9. Mendoza in shotgun. Hands it off to Hemby, who's swallowed up. Didn't even look like he got back to the line of scrimmage. Brings up 4th and 10 for the Hoosiers. Timeout, Hoosiers. So already Indiana going to be using their second timeout of the first half. Interesting decision would come up. Curt Cignetti, does he go aggressive knowing it's Alabama and Alabama's going to be aggressive? Oh, actually, nope. Here we go. Field goal unit on to attempt to kick for Indiana. Nico Radikic, if I pronounced his name right, on to attempt a 31-yard field goal. 2 seconds left to go. Wait, I thought somebody called a timeout. That was weird. I thought somebody called a timeout. There's only 2 seconds left to go. The clock staying still. Curt Cignetti yelling at something. And the clock just ticked down to the end of the first quarter. That was a confusing series right there. If it sounded confusing the way I was describing it, that's because it was. Because it looked like Indiana took a timeout, but they didn't. Then they stopped the clock with 2 seconds. Then a player comes off, and then the clock runs down to 0. Anyway, that's the end of the first quarter with no score between the Crimson Tide and the Hoosiers. I'll be back momentarily. Here we are back in the action. Beginning of the second quarter. Indiana on to attempt a field goal from about 31 yards out, as they were about to do before the clock ran out on the first quarter. Kick is up, and it is good. 14:57 left to go in the second quarter to score. Indiana 3, Alabama 0. Alabama defense folded in a couple of critical spots on that offensive drive from Indiana, but the red zone defense is able to bail them out and only allow a field goal. Alabama offense moved pretty well before stalling out on the first drive. Can Alabama move the ball down the field now on their second offensive drive? So the first drives of the game went punt, field goal. Is it just me, or did that first quarter move by really fast? Because normally it feels like, as I started the stream at 3:10, normally it would feel like it would be about 4 before I finished the first quarter. But it's not even 3:45 yet here. And I'm saying Central Time. So if you're on the East Coast and you're watching this, just move your clock an hour ahead of what I'm saying. Shout out to the people watching this stream. Glad you're spending your new year with me. Big things planned for the channel going forward. Obviously, you saw I merged this channel with my other channel, Go Pats 99, which was exclusively for New England Patriots / NFL content. So we're merging them together instead of just keeping them separate. So you'll see all my Patriots content and Alabama content here on this channel. You'll also see my college football content and pro football content on this channel. Once the off season's here, I will do schedule previews for every college football team. This will be the 4th year in a row I do predictions. After the schedule is announced for the NFL, that's when I'll start doing the predictions for the NFL. Also, as I announced, I will do here on this channel every Patriots playoff game. So as long as the Patriots in the playoff, live streaming season's still going to be going on in here. Also, do plan currently on doing the live stream this coming Sunday for the regular season finale between the Patriots and the Dolphins. Am I going to do UGA Ole Miss tonight? No. As of right now, I only do when Alabama's playing and when the Patriots are playing. I do want to eventually move next year to doing other games, hopefully within the next 2 years. But as of right now, I'm only sticking to the Alabama games and the New England Patriots games. Kickoff in the air goes out the back of the end zone for a touchback. Alabama's going to start their second drive of the game at their own 25-yard line. Here we are, 1st and 10, Bama, Simpson and shotgun. Hands it off to Miller. No, that's Riley, actually. Nowhere to go for Riley. Brings up 2nd and 10 for the Crimson Tide. The only exception to that, Mr. AJ20, is that depending on how things are going, I may go ahead and stream the Super Bowl. Second and 10 Simpson under center. Hands it off to Riley. This time he's able to get up the middle for a gain of 2 on the play. Brings it 3rd and 8 for the Crimson Tide. Riley, we haven't heard from a while. Surprised they actually utilized him in this spot for the game, given that Miller is normally in that spot. Here we go. Subbed out Riley for Heel now. 3rd and 8. Simpson in shotgun. Takes a snap. Looking to scramble now. Gets a few yards. 1st down. Depends on where they mark him, where he slid. Also surprised the flag didn't fly for the face mask. Officially ruled 4th and 1. Oh, boy. That's a whiff by the official there. Number 4, the defense grabbed Simpson by the face mask, but it's missed. Officially still rule 4th and 1 for the Crimson Tide. See what the Crimson Tide decide to do here. We assume it's going to be, if they go for it, and which they are. This is a weird looking formation here. Timeout, Hoosiers. Second charge timeout of the half for the Hoosiers. They will have 1 remaining for the remainder of the first half. When we come back, it'll be 4th and 1. Alabama in their own territory. Looked, and there's a weird formation. You had Heel in the Wildcat. Did not see where Simpson went, but he was in the Wildcat shotgun. Then Indiana called the timeout. Game still at commercial break here between the Hoosiers and the Crimson Tide. And then also another interesting thing too is that the Wildcat might have worked on the previous play, but now Alabama's got to come up with something strategical here because Indiana is not going to be caught off guard if Alabama goes into the Wildcat. So if you went into the Wildcat to try and catch Indiana off guard, that just got taken away. Would not be surprised if they line up Ty Simpson under center and try to go for the tush push. We have seen Alabama use and pull off the tush push before in short situations. So I would not be surprised at all if we end up seeing Simpson in a tush push. Here we go. Punting formation. Nope. Now they went into this weird switcheroo kind of thing. What the hell is going on? Timeout, Bama. What the heck? It's like, what in the world? Were y'all watching the exact same thing I just saw? They lined up in a punt. Then Simpson came out of nowhere, lined up under center. Looked like he was changing some sort of play. The only thing I could think is that they were trying to get Indiana to jump off sides. That's the only thing I can think of, is that they wanted to try to get Indiana to jump off sides. Here we go. Heel and the Wildcat. Hands it to Bernard. Bernard doesn't get it. All that for no gain and turnover on downs. And the sad thing is, if Hill would have kept it, Hill would have gotten the first down. But he tried to give it to Bernard and came within an inch, but didn't get it. So now Indiana's going to have the ball of their own at the in Alabama territory here. First down. Mendoza in shotgun. Looking to throw. Bounces off a would-be tackler. Flag flew in the backfield. Right around the area of holding. As it stands, it's a gain of 4. Holding against the Hoosiers. So back up Indiana 10 yards. Brings up 1st and 20 for the Hoosiers. Yep. Pull of the jersey. You can see while he was trying to reach for the tackle, affected the tackle. Call it every time if you're the refs. 1st and 20. There's that weird, confusing look on the face of Signetti that we all came to know. Excuse me. 1st and 20. Mendoza in shotgun. Ball at the Alabama 45-yard line. Hands it off to Hemby. Gets a crease. Gains about 20 on the run. Brings up 1st and 10 for the Hoosiers. Just no sort of urgency on the Alabama defensive line there. 1st and 10. Hand off to Hemby. This time he only gains about 3 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 7 for the Hoosiers. Officially ruled 2nd and 8 for the Hoosiers, so make that gain of only 2 on the play. All at the Alabama 21-yard line. Mendoza in shotgun. Throws it out. Broken up by number 7 of the Crimson Tide. First incompletion of the game for Mendoza. Brings up 3rd and 8 for the Hoosiers. It was number 7 who was able to stick his paw in the passing lane. Jones managed to break it up. Brings up 3rd and 8 for the Hoosiers from the Alabama 21-yard line. Mendoza in shotgun. Completes it to number 80. Touchdown, Hoosiers. Charlie Becker, number 80, makes the catch for the Hoosiers to put the Hoosiers, pending the extra point, up 10-0. Extra point is good. With 10:49 left to go in the second quarter to score Indiana 10, Alabama 0. Game going to commercial. Be right back when the action resumes. Here we are back in the action here in the Indiana-Alabama game, live from the Rose Bowl. Kickoff is in the air. Retrieved by Brooks. Turns it all the way up to about the 14-yard line. 1st and 10, Crimson Tide. Bama offense has not been able to get going in the past 2 drives. This is their 3rd drive of the game on offense. First one ended in a punt. Second ended in a turnover on downs. Bama offense has to get going here. This was right around the spot in the game against Oklahoma where the offense started to get going. Has to get going now here. 1st and 10, Simpson in shotgun, looks to throw it. Throws it out to Williams, complete. Gain of about 5 on the play, brings up 2nd and 5 for the Crimson Tide. Second and 10, Simpson under center. I'm sorry, 2nd and 5, Simpson under center. Looks to throw it. Completes it to Bernard. Where was he all game? Gains about 15 on the play. 1st and 10, Crimson Tide. Perfect pass to a wide open Bernard. Reminiscent of Bernard earlier in the season. And Alabama gets the 1st down right around their own 37-yard line. 1st and 10. Simpson in shotgun. Incomplete, intended for Bernard again. And it's actually kind of good he didn't complete it because Bernard would have been hit behind the line and stopped. This brings up 2nd and 10 for the Crimson Tide. Simpson in shotgun. Hands it off to Hill. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. Brings up 3rd and 10 for the Crimson Tide. Third and 10, Simpson in shotgun. Simpson tried to run it himself, only gains about a yard on the play. Brings up 4th and 10 for the Crimson Tide. Had a wide open receiver, but I didn't see him in time or thought maybe he can get it himself. Either way, Bama forced to punt. Punt retrieved by number 0 of the Hoosiers. Gains his way up to about the Alabama 44-yard line where they will start the drive. 1st and 10, Hoosiers. Bama's first 3 drives on offense went punt, turnover on downs, punt. Indiana's first 3 drives have gone punt, field goal, touchdown. Can Bama's defense rebound from their disastrous showing on the previous offensive drive for the Hoosiers? And after that, can Alabama's offense get going? Action coming back for the Rose Bowl. Alabama's last appearance in the Rose Bowl was against Michigan, where they found themselves in a similar situation to where they're finding themselves right now. And Bama ended up losing that game in overtime. Can Bama find a way to keep history from repeating itself and find a way to pull off a win here to get to the semifinals? First and 10 for the Hoosiers. Ball at the Hoosier 43-yard line. Here we go. First and 10. Mendoza in shotgun. Looks to throw it. Sacked for the first time since the first drive. Finally, some positive signs on defense. Sacked for a loss of about 6 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 16 for the Hoosiers. Alabama finally they send an extra lineman on a blitz, and it overwhelmed Indiana's offensive line to where Mendoza couldn't find anywhere to get. Oh, actually, 2nd and 19. Mendoza hands it off to Hemby. Gains about 6 on the play. Brings up 3rd and 13 for the Hoosiers. Injured Hoosier down on the field. Correction, that was 8. Black, who was on the run there, and he's the one who's injured. Officially ruled 3rd and 12 for the Hoosiers. When we come back from this injury timeout, Kalen Black, number 8 for the Hoosiers, is the man hurt. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. The way he hit his head when he fell down, I'm speculating it's a concussion. That brings to a commercial break and an injury timeout to attend to Kalen Black, the injured Hoosier. Oh, something actually I didn't notice that was brought up to me in a text is at first I thought it was a concussion, but somebody just brought up in a Discord chat I'm in was landed on by 2 linemen. So it might not be a concussion, it might be a more serious upper or lower body injury. But either way, you hope Kalen Black's okay. I mean, even if you're rooting for the other team, you never wish for an injury to happen to somebody, especially a young up and coming athlete. Back from the commercial break. See if we can get an injury update on Mendoza. That Scattaboo injury is the one that comes to mind for me this year. Yeah, Cam Scattaboo. Yeah, never like to see injuries like that. That one actually almost reminded me of the injury in 2019 to Tua. Mendoza, incomplete pass. Alabama's trying to plead the case that it was a catch and fumble, but officially ruled 4th and 12, and I think that was the right call. Let's see. Depends if they review it, because he comes down with it with full possession, but does he make a football move? I think that might be a fumble. We'll see if they replay or review this. That might actually be a catch and a fumble if they review it. They have until the ball snapped, and the ball is snapped, so no review coming on the play here. Punt is in the air and fielded by number 7, Cole Adams, at the Alabama 15-yard line. So a good stand on defense there by Alabama, capped off by the 9-yard sack on Mendoza. Now, can Alabama's offense play with some motivation? Here we are, 1st and 10. Simpson in shotgun. Takes a snap. Looks to throw it. Completes it to Cuevas. Gain of about 6 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 4 for the Crimson Tide. As soon as I have an injury update on Kalen Black, I'll give you the update. Officially ruled 2nd and 2. Simpson in shotgun. Looks to throw it. Completes it out to number 4, Hill. Gain of about 4 and a first down for the Crimson Tide. 1st and 10. Clock ticking to 6 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Simpson in shotgun. Takes a snap. Hands it off to Hill. Hill cuts it up the middle. Gain of about 6 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 4 for the Crimson Tide. Jam Miller has yet to see the field in this game. We'll see if he sees the field at some point in the game. Officially ruled 2nd and 5. Simpson in shotgun. Completes it to number 2, Williams, who took a hard hit at the hands of an Indiana lineman, but he gets up immediately. Brings up 1st and 10 for the Crimson Tide, right around their own 46-yard line. 1st and 10, Simpson in shotgun. Completes it to Hill. Gain of about 3 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 7 for the Crimson Tide. Second and 7. Simpson under center. Hands it off to Miller. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. Correction, Riley got the handoff, not Miller. Brings up 3rd and 7 for the Crimson Tide. Now Miller comes into the game at running back. 3rd and 7. Simpson in shotgun. Simpson takes it himself, able to get the first down and some. Ball came loose, but I think he might have been down actually before the ball came out. Although Indiana, it looks like they ruled it in favor of Indiana. Turnover, fumble. Looked like he was down initially. Let's see on this replay if this replay can give us any indication of what it was. Looked like his right elbow or right knee may have been down right before the ball came out. If any part of his body was down, it was the right forearm, the left forearm. They're going to take a look at it. All turnovers automatically get reviewed. No, wait, they're not going to take a review at it. Handoff to Hemby. Gain of about 4 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 6 for the Hoosiers. Honestly, I cannot tell or whether or not on the replays that was shown if whether or not he lost the ball. So if there was a replay, I'm pretty sure the call would have been upheld. Simpson grimacing in pain on the sideline. 2nd and 6, Mendoza takes the handoff, gets it himself. Gain of about 3 on the play, brings up 3rd and 3 for the Hoosiers. Simpson, he's either getting a pep talk from his quarterback's coach or he's being checked out for a concussion. Brings us to the 2-minute timeout. 2 minutes left to go in the second quarter to score Indiana 10, Alabama 0. Bama will get the ball to begin the first half. So if Bama can get the ball and call a quick timeout, potential to double up for Alabama and tie or take the lead. But first, Alabama needs to get the ball back from Indiana and then score rather quickly. And then when they get the ball at the start of the half, score. Back to the action after the 2-minute timeout. Alabama does have 2 timeouts if they can get the stop to make something happen on their next offensive drive. 3rd and 3, Mendoza in shotgun, looking to throw it, forced out the pocket, forced to scramble, gets the first down right around the Alabama 48-yard line, 1st and 10, Hoosiers. Mendoza hands it off to Hemby. Hemby forced out of bounds right before he got to the first down, brings up 2nd and 1 for the Hoosiers. Mendoza hands it off to Hemby. Gains about 2 on the play. 1st down, Hoosiers. What's going on here? Stoppage of play with the refs having a discussion. Nobody called a timeout. Like, don't know what that random stoppage was for. Officially, it's going to be ruled 3rd and 1 for the Hoosiers. Don't know what that random stoppage in play was. Oh, there's a review going on. Hold on. Don't even know why they called him short, but the review was to see if he had crossed the first down line, which clearly on the initial play as it was going, he did. 1st and 10, Hoosiers from the 33-yard line. Alabama, in all likelihood, will not see the ball again this half, barring a turnover. Hand off to Hemby. Gains about 7 on the play, brings up 2nd and 3 for the Hoosiers. Outside run, been killing Alabama on defense all season. 2nd and 3, Mendoza looks to throw, completes it. 1st and 10, all the way out to the Alabama 20-yard line. Mendoza throws it out. Number 37 gets the completion and about a 4-yard and about a 6-yard gain on the play, brings up 2nd and 4 for the Hoosiers. Mendoza in shotgun, hands it off to Hemby. Gets to about the first down line. See what they officially rule it. First and goal. Mendoza in shotgun. Hands it off to Hemby. No correction. Black is back in the game. First time since Oklahoma last year, Bama was scoreless going into halftime. No, actually, Alabama had 3 points going into halftime. So actually, it would be the first time we'd be held scoreless going into halftime. Probably since Texas. No, not even Texas. Hold on, I'll have to go back during the second half, see how long it's been since Alabama was held scoreless going into the second half. Here we go, 2nd and goal. Ball right around the 3-yard line. Mendoza under center. Looks to throw it. Completes it. Touchdown, Hoosiers, number 3. Cooper on the reception for the Hoosiers. Omar Cooper on the 1-yard reception from Mendoza. Hitting the extra point, going to put Indiana up 17-0. Correction. I think the last time Alabama was held scoreless in the first half was all the way back in the 2017 national championship game against Georgia where they were down 13-0. Extra point is good. 17 seconds left to go in the first half. The score, Indiana 17, Alabama 0. Also, wasn't Alabama held scoreless in the SEC championship game first half this year? I seem to remember them being held scoreless in that game in the first half. Bama takes a knee, sending it into the end of the first half. Score, Indiana 17, Alabama 0. We've seen Alabama be a second half team countless times. But here against Indiana, they will have to do that again. Against a team that shut Ohio State out in the second half last year. I'm sorry, in the Big Ten championship game. All right. First half reaction show are going to be filmed. Then I'm going to go ahead and take a break for halftime. Very disappointing first half from Alabama. Defense looked good for a while, but then allowed 2 touchdowns and a field goal. Offense has not been able to get anything going at all. And the sad thing is, our defense showed promise in quite a bit of situations, but they're just letting Mendoza, whenever he feels like it, throw it across the field. And the offense can't get anything going. We had something going on the last time we had the ball, but then we fumbled it. Bama looks like they don't have an identity. They're getting shut out by Indiana. Not able to get anything going. We got to change something quickly. Otherwise, we're done for the season. All right, going to take a halftime break. Going to upload the halftime reaction short. Hopefully, something changes quickly here in the second half against Indiana. Simmons dropped it down. Next one. Is it? It's history. I'd say Texas USC was the best. That makes sense. Two or three games each year. Professional teams have rated every year. That's one more. Listen, you're in the roast. You're going to make 3 scores on Alabama. Simpson, the offensive defense. So should we come up around that and donate that for him? Spray the players. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it will. Success rate, Indiana 61%. Very good. Keith Jackson. Yes, and Keith Jackson. As good as they get. So MTV is still on the air. It's but I'm sorry. Every other MTV channel. MTV is still there without showing. So the other channels are going to classic VH1, something like that. That's don't you remember Oklahoma? Yeah. I've always said I think everybody should have been much. I think teams we see, I think Baltimore gets the 4. And then I think you're right on the money. Actually, I'm gonna have Phillies for 2. Right. 20 points challenge or no. Yeah. So I did like the challenge. Yeah, I think it's still
attending wrestling shows. I went viral one time a couple of years ago when CM Punk returned to WWE, and I made the decision that this year will be my retirement tour of attending wrestling shows. And after this, I will never buy tickets to a wrestling show again. So the shocked CM Punk guy is going to put his shock face on the chair and walk away forever. Seriously, who the fuck retires from attending wrestling shows?
What's up, Texas fans? See,
Here we are, back from the halftime break. Action about to kick off in the second half. Bama to receive the ball first in the second half. Down 17-0. Needing to get things going in the second half. Kickoff in the air. Goes back out of the end zone. Touchback. Here we are, 1st and 10. Bama from their own 25-yard line. Simpson in shotgun. Takes a snap. Throws it out short to Williams. Loses 3 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 13 for the Crimson Tide. That was not how you wanted to start off the second half. Second and 12. Simpson in shotgun. Looking to throw after being chased. Batted down at the line. Incomplete. Brings up 3rd and 12 for the Crimson Tide. Here we go. 3rd and 12. Simpson in shotgun. Looks to throw it. Completes it to Cuevas. Looking for some room. But he's going to be stopped only about the 5-yard gain. Way short of the first down. Brings up 4th and 7 for the Tide. And they're going to punt. Punt is in the air. Fielded by Indiana at the Alabama 25-yard line. 1st and 10, Indiana. See if Alabama's defense made adjustments against this Indiana offense. Here we go. 1st and 10, Indiana. Mendoza in shotgun. Hands it off to Hemby. Hemby found some room before he's been knocked out after a 4-yard gain. Brings up 2nd and 6 for the Hoosiers. Second and 6. Mendoza takes a snap, hands it off to Himby. Himby, gain of about 3 on the play, brings up 3rd and 3 for the Hoosiers. Third and 3, Mendoza. Shotgun. Takes a snap, runs it. Gain of about 10. First down, Hoosiers. You have to assume that if Indiana scores a touchdown on this drive, it might be over. Here we go. 1st and 10. Mendoza in shotgun. Hands it off to Himby. Himby. No correction. That was Black on the run. Gets about a 5-yard gain on the play. Brings up 2nd and 5 for the Hoosiers. Second and 5, Mendoza looking to throw, being chased. Finds some running room. Ball swatted out, but rolled mercilessly out of bounds. Brings up 1st and 10 for the Hoosiers. First and 10, Hoosiers. Ball at the Alabama 47-yard line. Mendoza in shotgun. Throws it out to number 3. Gains about 5 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 5 for the Hoosiers. Cooper, number 3, was the guy on the reception. Second and 4. Mendoza in shotgun. Black gets the run. First down, Hoosiers. First and 10, Mendoza in shotgun. Hands it off to Himby. Gains about 2 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 8 for the Hoosiers. The 2nd and 8, Mendoza takes the snap. Finds no room, then he runs it. Gains about 6 on the play. Brings up 3rd and 2 for the Hoosiers. Third and 1. Mendoza in shotgun. Looks to throw it. Launches it deep. Completes it to number 13. Touchdown, Hoosiers. Surratt. Elijah Surratt. I'm hoping I pronounced his name right. Gets the touchdown for Indiana. That's going to put Indiana, pending the extra point, up 24-0. Extra point is good. With 7:46 left to go in the third quarter, to score Indiana 24, Alabama 0. Here we are back from commercial break here in the Indiana versus Alabama game. If Alabama hasn't scored by the fourth quarter, probably going to go ahead and shut things down. Kickoff goes out the back of the end zone for a touchback. New quarterback in the game for Alabama, Austin Mack, number 10, who we assume is probably going to be the starter next year for the Crimson Tide, has been put in the game. Ty Simpson benched. And what the hell? They go right back to commercial break. So why the hell did they kick the ball off and then go right to a commercial break? Wait, hold on. Getting some word that it may not have been him being benched. It looks like he's dealing with a nagging injury, and that's why they're putting Austin Mack in the game instead of Ty Simpson. Well, injury or no injury, Austin Mack being placed into the game in place of Ty Simpson. Can't tell if it's injury related or if it's poor performance related benching. Looks like it may have something to do with the hit he took late in the second half. I'm sorry, first half that caused the fumble. See if maybe Austin Mack being in the game can spark the offense. 1st and 10. Mack in shotgun. Looking to throw it. Throws it out to Miller. Gain of about 1 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 9 for the Crimson Tide. Mack in shotgun. Looking to throw it. Trying to get a little bit of breathing room. Runs for it. Gets first down and some. Pushed out of bounds right around the 38-yard line. 1st and 10. Crimson Tide. Game is over. Alabama lost. Yeah. Hate Indiana's quarterback in that team. Well, how can you hate the team? I mean, they've been a Cinderella story. Mendoza's not even probably in like the top 5 most hateable quarterbacks. Most hateable quarterback is Diego Pavia. 1st and 10, Mack and shotgun. Hands it off to Hill. Gain of about 1 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 9 for the Hoosiers. I'm sorry, the Crimson Tide. Mack and shotgun. Looks to throw it. Throws it downfield. Completes it to Bernard. Bernard, way past the first down, gets it to about the 25-yard line of the Hoosiers. 1st and 10, Crimson Tide. Can Alabama potentially turn this into a Tua Tagovailoa situation from a few years ago? Here we go. 1st and 10. Mack under center. Needs to get the snap off quickly. Timeout, Crimson Tide. 5:13 left to go in the third quarter. The score, Indiana 24, Alabama 0. Still waiting for the action to come back after the timeout. All at the 25-yard line. 1st and 10, Crimson Tide. Mack and shotgun. Looking to throw it. Throws it out complete to Cuevas to the 9-yard line. 1st and goal, Crimson Tide. First and goal, Mack and shotgun. Looking to throw it. Now looking to take it himself. Gains it to the 5-yard line. 2nd and goal, Crimson Tide. Second and goal. Mack and shotgun. Takes a snap, looking to throw it. Throws it out to Hill. Fell back at the 10-yard line. Brings up third and goal for the Crimson Tide. Alabama's got to start playing with some urgency here. Here we go, third and goal. Third and goal. Mack and shotgun. Takes a snap, looking to throw it. Incomplete, intended for Brooks. Brings up fourth and goal for the Crimson Tide. You have to go for it here. You have to assume if Bama doesn't get the conversion here, it's over. And Bama's kicking a field goal. So you have to score 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to have a shot at winning this. Oh, boy. Here we go. Connor Tulsi on the kick the field goal. It's good. With 2:44 left to go in the third quarter to score Indiana 24, Alabama 3. Kickoff is in the air. Goes out the back of the end zone for the touchback. Indiana will start with the ball at their own 25-yard line. Here we go, 1st and 10. Mendoza in shotgun. Takes the snap, hands it off to Black. Nowhere to go. Brings up 2nd and 10 for the Hoosiers. Second and 10. Mendoza in shotgun. Hands it off to Black. Black maybe gains 2 on the play. Brings up 3rd and 8 for the Hoosiers. Third and 8. Mendoza in shotgun. Takes a snap and looking to throw it. Completes it. First down and some for the Hoosiers. Number 37 on the play. Gains his way all the way up to the Alabama 45-yard line. 1st and 10 Hoosiers. First and 10. Mendoza takes a snap, hands it off to Black. Gain of about 15 on the play. Brings up 1st and 10 Hoosiers. And that's going to bring us to the 4th quarter. Into the 3rd quarter to score Indiana 24, Alabama 3. Here we are, 1st and 10. Mendoza hands it off to Black. Black gets about 2 yards on the carry. Brings up 2nd and 8 for the Hoosiers. Second and 8. Mendoza in shotgun. Hands it off to Black. Black going to get in almost untouched. Touchdown Hoosiers. Might wait and see what happens on this next drive for Alabama and then go ahead and shut things down. That pretty much might have just salted any remaining chances Alabama had of winning this game. You thought maybe after that last offensive drive and things finally got going under Austin Mack, that if Bama defense could have held Indiana out of the end zone, that Bama might have had a chance, but this offense has just been a nightmare for the Alabama defense to stop. And the Alabama offense could not get anything going here against this Indiana team. Call it what you want. Call it Alabama not being deserving of the playoff. Call it Indiana living up to their number 1 ranking. But this Bama team that is playing right now, clearly outmatched by Indiana. Indiana might just very well be the number 1. Well, they are the number 1 team in the country. They might very well just be that much better than everybody else. Ohio State couldn't get really anything going against them. Oregon couldn't get anything going against them. And now Alabama is going to fall. Yes, the game's technically not over. But Alabama going to fall here against Indiana. And Oregon may be next. Alabama looks like a sorry football team. We didn't even deserve to be in the playoff. See, that's been an argument. I would get the argument if we didn't literally beat Oklahoma at their own home stadium in the first round. If we would have lost to Oklahoma, then I would say maybe Alabama didn't deserve to be in the playoff. But we beat. If somebody wins a playoff game, how can you say they didn't deserve to be in the playoff? Like, let's say the Steelers. Let's say whoever wins out of the Ravens and the Steelers, I'm going to assume it's going to be the Steelers. Let's say the Steelers win. They then beat the Texans in round 1, but then fall to the Broncos in the second round. How can you go and say the Steelers didn't deserve to be in the playoffs when they literally won a playoff game? Or if Miami would have lost to Ohio State, how could? But because they beat Texas A&M, didn't even show up in the game. Said joke. Why did they even get off the bus if they were just going to play like this? Exactly. This team just looked flat. I can't even describe it. Flat. Time over at Alabama? I don't think so. Maybe if we would have lost the Auburn game, you could have justified it. But, I mean, he got Alabama to the playoffs in their second year. His second year. After the transfer portal nightmare that happened in 2024. Second year, he's in the playoffs. Wins a playoff game, too. And with that big of a buyout, with the results we have, I don't think you can justify spending that buyout on a coach that in his second year leads you to the playoff. Kickoff is in the air. Touchback If Bama doesn't score a touchdown, I'm probably going to shut the stream down. First and 10, Mack and shotgun. Mack looking to throw. Throws it deep downfield, incomplete. Brings up 2nd and 10 for Alabama. Second and 10. Mack and shotgun. Looking to throw it. Sacked for a loss of about 5 on the play. Brings up 3rd and 15 for the Crimson Tide. Just fires it to nowhere, incomplete. And Alabama's going to punt. Well, I hate to say it's over, but difficult to come back in the fourth quarter from a 31-3 deficit. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the stream. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to every Alabama live stream this season. Thank you for the growth I've seen this season on the channel. Hopefully, for the rest of the Patriot season, you'll join me. I'll be live Sunday at 3:30-ish for the Patriots versus the Dolphins. I will also go live for every Patriots game. And then depending on what's going on, regardless of who's in it, I might go ahead and stream the Super Bowl. Thank you all for tuning in. Bama season ends in just dominant fashion against Indiana. I'll probably go ahead and either tomorrow or Saturday have a thoughts on Bama's season video that I do every year. Just a terrible way for Alabama to go out, but it happened. Good luck to Indiana, rest of your playoff run. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'll see y'all later.